Amy. Hello. Bob, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Good. I'm just sending an invitation to everybody so that they can join.
Okay.
So did you get notified in your Gmail automatically or something like that?
Yeah, it just sent me a little audio, notification. So I just
Okay.
clicked on a
Okay.
box and everything came up. So it's pretty simple.
Sweet. So I'm expecting others to just join in a few. How is the video quality? Okay, clean?
It's pretty good. Now the thing is, you've got your logo is down over your face there. That's getting better now.
Okay. I noticed that problem and I will that should be okay now, I guess. A
Yeah, right.
little better now. Okay, that will do. Yeah. Oh, you can now see all the bags and everything lying here. I'll just put them aside. Ah. So did the machine successfully set up or something? Or
You mean that virtual machine that you gave
uh-huh,
me?
uh-huh.
Quite honestly, I haven't had time to touch it since Wednesday night. I've been running around like crazy.
Wow. Okay. So did you get a chance to locate the DK, sorry, not MD5 signature and the place to find out your SHA SHA-1 checksum?
No, I haven't had time to do that, but I'll go to your website right now since you're on
Okay.
the line.
Yep. I think it's a good idea to do that. Having trouble getting internet at new house. Wow. I think that's a new house problem, cannot really fix it so quickly. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. It's early.
I know. Yeah, it is early, but it is sunny outside, and that's a good thing.
It
But
is.
yeah,
Mm, Just
it is sunny outside. If you haven't looked outside, it is quite sunny and nice. I had a brief stroll in the sun this morning before shower, and then I got ready for this chat. So,
gotcha.
a question for you. Did you have any questions or trouble in, I think some of you are running into this Google verification DKIM signature not generating properly. Did you
I
overcome
got it
that?
to work today.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
I haven't been able to verify it for sure, but I'll send you an email and see if you can verify it.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. So we have Robert and Heather right now on the phone. Pretty much that's it right now. But Mel is having trouble accessing the internet. Heather sent me an email, how are now? And it still doesn't show a signature. Sorry.
Well, I did just set it up this morning, so I don't know if it takes.
Yeah, but it will eventually fix. Use the tool at some point to look at the tool that I give you a link on. Use the
Oh,
tool to
right.
verify. That'll do. Hi, May.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good.
And Dan just pinged me on where the class is. Wow, you probably missed that email or something, which is a problem. Okay, he is joining in. Dan was out traveling to Canada and stuff, which is I think his kids have a school band orchestra or something that they were participating in, so he was taking the whole class.
Cool.
Then he just joined. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
How are you doing?
All right, I'm trying to figure this out.
Hmm. Hangout, hanging out. I think we just renamed the Hangout to something that I call screen side chat as opposed to fireside chat.
Got it.
Whatever. It's basically a place to resolve problems, for us to resolve problems, helping each other out. So that's what we'll do. And so we have 4 people. Maybe we should just take turns, begin asking questions, and see where we are stuck, and see how we can unblock. And then we discuss briefly about the Monday class and see what we want to do going forward in terms of next steps we want to cover and consider. Many of you are like almost on the edge of completing your video reviews, which is nice. Awesome. I see Dan just completed something. Oh, number 5 done. Daniel Joy completed number 4 also. And Mel, by the way, Mel is having trouble joining. He has a new home and an internet issue at the new location. Jason says he's going to join shortly. And wow, most of the other people haven't even seen the email, which bothers me. Okay, more messages. Okay, Heather says unable to. Heather is unable to authenticate the DKIM yet.
No, I can authenticate it. It just hasn't taken yet, apparently.
Okay, and then Michael says my current setup having problem completing DKIM verification. Wow, I think that's just unfortunate. I'll probably do a one-on-one with everybody and just help out instead of holding the whole class down while I'm looking at one machine. I'll ask Michael to please join the Google Hangout. So he can come online. And send him. Okay, so let's begin with one by one. I think first question I would like to have ask May, did you resolve your ISP issue regarding finding a place to insert your records, the signature records for DKIM?
Yeah, after I submit a support ticket, they say it was registered, but their cPanel doesn't show it because somehow in some sort of subfolder, the cPanel doesn't display that for some reason.
Wow,
But
that's a buggy panel.
I know that's not a good.
I know. So this is one of the reasons why we, at least for the purpose of the class, we choose best of breed solutions for Route 53, for example. They're really elaborate and very nicely done service, although it still doesn't look as clean as I would like it to be looking, but still decent.
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
About how come like a lot of email servers are separate, like there's inbound mail server and outbound mail server.
So when you say separate, let me describe this thing as to how internet traffic on email actually flows in very simple language without complicating it too much. So what I'm doing right now is opening up a little piece of writing board, and then I will start sharing my screen so you can see my screen, and then I'll talk briefly about what exactly the email traffic, how does it flow, in just brief commentary on that. So now I will go here, start presenting my desktop, which will turn off my camera, and then I'll go to my hello. Do you see my writing? Okay.
Bless you.
Good.
Thanks.
Yeah. So let us look at how email actually flows. In very simple terms, there are two things to do in email. One is send, the other is receive, right? For sending something, you need a client that talks to a sending server. This is the send server.
Mm-hmm.
In old days, and even today, there's this protocol called SMTP, Simple Mail Transport Protocol, is used, and SendMail was an open source implementation on Unix and Linux. And there is another implementation called Postfix. And these are the two primarily used packages that will use this protocol called SMTP. And the client application, and the client application would be something like Outlook or something like this mail application that I'm not even using, right? This application called Mail App, which you can like create a new mail like this and send out, say, May at, and then it will send an email with a subject line and a body, right? So this is the body, and that is the subject. And this is the from address and the CC line and a BCC line and things like that. So that's the basic skeleton structure of an email going out. And this is the client application. This client application will talk to a server. The server is an SMTP server, this one. It sends out an email outside of that box from port number 25. And then it goes to somewhere, that destination location. So you have a to address, to xyz at abc.com. So this email will have a to, a CC, BCC, subject, and a body. So this whole packet, the whole thing, this whole thing will start traveling on the internet looking for abc.com. And that's the place where it reaches, tries to reach, and basically break this entire email into smaller packets, in smaller chunks, and then they all get routed to the destination machine, which is here, abc.com. That's where the machine needs to be reached. The email needs to reach that machine. And that's what this guy does, the send mail protocol, or sorry, the SMTP protocol, or Postfix server, or send mail server, or Exchange server in Exchange server, or your Yahoo Mail or Hotmail. I see. So I think I'm getting a request to mute everybody so that the video doesn't switch over. Otherwise, you're not able to see my desktop. So pardon me. As or rather, why don't you please mute yourselves and unmute yourself when there is a need to. When there is a need, let me see if I can mute you. Control room. Mute. Can I mute you? Probably I can. But I would rather not mute you. Instead, what I would like to do is please mute yourself so that you don't show up on the screen of other people, because what's happening is when you speak, the software is supposed to show the active speaker in the front. And so if you make some noise, it thinks that you're speaking, and the active speaker will show up in the front, which is not what we want. So please mute. Now, having said that, let's go to the screen I was on, and what I was doing is describing this email flow. So now I'm going to make some noise with my dog getting. So just shut my door. I think I disturbed my flow. So let me erase this completely. The idea was that we sending an email from an SMTP server, and this machine will try to send out email from port number 25 to the destination called abc.com. That's the destination. So on the DNS network, on the name server, it will look for this abc.com machine, and that seems to translate to some number, say 212.123.22.102. That's what it translated to, for example. I'm just making stuff up. And when that happens, what I want to be able to do is locate this machine out on the internet with this IP address and have that entire packet, set of packets, flow to that machine. Because that is where it is identified in the MX records where the destination should go. So we'll take some example now, and I will start terminal. And in the terminal, what I will do is make it bigger so you can see. And I'll say dig, and then I'll say, let's say my domain, and type on the MX records. And you will find that the email going to my domain, which is this name here, lonhe.com, needs to be traveling to this location, first priority, aspmx.l.google.com. That's where the mail will flow to, because the records on the internet show that for this domain, email needs to be first delivered here. If it fails, then it goes here. If it fails, then it goes here. If it fails, then it goes here, and otherwise go here. Actually, in the order of priority. So 1, 5, 5, then 10, 10. Not just this sequence, but 1, 5, 5, 10, 10. That's the sequence it will take and flow. And if it absolutely fails in all these 5 locations, it will go back to the sender, unable to deliver. So that's the travel modality in terms of how the actual email flows. Now, on the recipient side, what it will do is once that packet or set of packets arrive on the receiving server in that location, that aspmx.whatever.google.com will receive that entire packet, set of packets, and reassemble the entire thing, which it's to CC, subject, body, everything. It'll reassemble the whole thing in this sequence, and then look for this XYZ person at abc.com, because that's the destination we have now in the destination machine. We need to now look at this username and then identify that mailbox and then put that mail in the mailbox like here for this user. And that's how the recipient will receive the email saying, hey, you got mail. And the AOL client will say, you got mail, or something like that. Now, nobody uses AOL these days, but and I never used AOL, by the way, but I just used that phrase, you got mail. So that's the quick summary on how actually mail transport works. So does that answer your question, May? I'm going to ask May to unmute, and then you can answer. Does that answer your question?
How do I unmute?
You just unmuted yourself. You did. I heard you.
Okay.
Yeah, good, good, good. So does it answer your question you had?
No, my question, I'm more curious because when we set up email like this, we're actually, the MX is setting up the inbound, like that we can receive mail.
Mm-hmm.
But we can also set up a additional outbound mail server, for example, SendGrid, for example, on whatever this domain's behalf.
Right.
So, like, I guess, definitely. So that means we can actually not use Google in this case as our outbound mail server. Use SendGrid instead. Like, meaning we have a different. So Google will be our inbound mail server, and SendGrid will be our outbound mail server.
Yes, yes. The idea is exactly what you describe, although a little variation to that idea is like this. I'm going to start sharing my screen once more. So sharing my screen, and now going back to the drawing board. For the setup that we discussed in the class the other day, it was something like this. For receiving email inbound, we will be setting up MX records. And currently, we are all experimenting with Google Apps. So that's the mailbox that we will have, which will get all the emails coming into here, and we can see that in our gmail.com location. We can see that right there. Go here and you will find that for your domain like murudaguru.com or jobfully.com, you can see your email showing up in the inbox right here in this location. That's what you will see. Now for sending, I talked about 3 different types of emails. 3 types. One of them was being type number 1 was person to person email. And it is very similar to me opening up, say, Safari, logging in, and then sending out an email. As simple as that. Maybe like this. I open up an email client, I start my email, and I'll say Nilesh, and I'll say May at Jobfully. I'll send a subject line. I'll say this is my subject, and this is my body, and I'll say send. Now what's happening right now, it is actually going out from a sending server, and it is a person-to-person email. I just sent a sample random email to May. Now when I did that, what happened is from me to May, so from Nilesh to May, that email went out from gmail.com. I am here using Gmail as a sending server also. Sending also.
Can we turn that off somehow?
Yes, you can choose your modality of sending emails by using one type, or for the second type and a third type. I'll be describing these 3 types in just a moment. So type 1, person to person. Type 2 is business to person. This is just an example. I'm going to show that example now. Next example would be business to person. So I just showed you an example of person-to-person email. It is very similar to me like going here and say compose an email, send an email to the whole class. So I'll say May 19 class. The whole class gets a random test email. So this is a random email from Nilesh, right? And it goes out with nothing in the subject. So that's the email I'm going to send the whole class, and all of you will receive. If I click send, it is a person to many people email. It's a P2P email, person to person, or person to many people email, but still using an individual sending it by hand by clicking some buttons, just like I'm doing right now. So that's one type. You can use all these 3 types concurrently at the same time for one domain, and I'll illustrate that point just a minute. Now I'm switching over to the second type of email, the type 2. These are just my nomenclatures. There is no official sanctity to this nomenclature. I'm just making names up right now. The second type of email that people send is businesses sending email to their customers. And that type of email you can send through SendGrid or your MailChimp or Aweber or Constant Contact, or there are 100 other methods. But I'm going to demonstrate this method right now, MailChimp. That's I'm already set up to use. So I will send a nice looking business email to all of you using MailChimp. And here is how it goes. I'll open up MailChimp. Not mail.google.com, but MailChimp. And then I will log in. And I will stay logged in, log in, and then do my multi-factor authentication, which has to be done. Okay, multi-factor authenticator. Okay, there it is. So it is 100723. And then I log in. And here what I will do is create a campaign. And I'll create a regular or plain text campaign. And in here I will send out the to a list. I'll create a new list. I'll say, yeah, this cloud technology, send it to a new segment of the entire list. Maybe I'll just send to this list. I'll say next. And here I'm going to type it and name a campaign, email the subject line, from address, from tags, and I'm going to track who's opening emails, right? You can track who's opening emails, track HTML clicks, track Google Analytics, and identify all other business metrics you want to associate as to who in your audience is actually reading your emails and things like that, and move along in the next section, follow through the model that they prescribe, and then this will send an automated email that you can track through your MailChimp account, which is a business to customer email.
Right. My question is more about the person-to-person situation. I guess my question is whether for the outbound person-to-person, can we not use Google in this case, although we use Google as the inbound mail server?
You can use whatever you want.
For the person-to-person?
Yes, technically you can use whatever you want. There is no limitation whatsoever.
And do business do that? Like when they use no matter Office 365 or Google Apps, they usually in that person-to-person, that means their inbound and outbound is the same service, right?
Yes. Like in case of our example, we are currently using Gmail on both person-to-person inbound and outbound, both sending and receive. Send and receive for both. Right? The question you have is, do you have to use Gmail, or do you have to use that particular place which you receive from? Do you have to send from exactly that location? The answer is no. There is no such limitation. You can send from wherever you want and receive wherever you want.
Okay. Because why I asked this question is now they start charging for Gmail. It's really to send, right? Outbound. Is that right?
Gmail charges.
Now, right?
So Gmail charges you $5 a month per user.
Right.
Per month. That's the charge.
Right. Yeah. So I'm thinking because I'm on BizSpark and I have certain Azure quota, but I also don't want to pay the $20 per person to use Office 365 as my mail server, right? Mail services. So I'm thinking whether I can host my own mail server, basically.
To do what? To send or receive?
Both, right? Either way.
Yes. Now, if you're doing it as a business, you need to be careful about your credibility. That's important. Credibility is super important, so don't ignore that. See, as a small company or as a small business, you honestly do not have credibility on the internet so that your email that you want to send to your audience will actually land in their inboxes. The reports that we get from big email sending companies like SMTP server.com or the SendMail or SendGrid or MailChimp, these guys generate reports on mail deliverability. They have noticed that if you have a good reputation, and so you're sending, say, 100 emails, most of them will actually reach the user. Out of these, some of them will actually reach the inbox, and some will reach their spam folder. And one will actually get dropped. This is the kind of statistic people are collecting. They just don't know where the email goes. It gets dropped out in the thin air. And some portion will go to the inbox and other portion will land in the spam. If you're setting up your own server, there is nothing wrong with it. But your reputation needs to be high for your deliverability to go up. I'm sorry, but you do not have reputation. Neither do I. So we use big name providers so that our deliverability is improved.
So company at what size can host their own mail services? Like say Expedia, like do they use?
Technically, it doesn't matter. You can host, and by the way, it will work.
I mean, not technically. We're talking about the credibility issue, right? So so companies say get to what size, right? When it's at 0 size, are they still using say Office 365 or Google Apps? Like where the credibility will start kicking in.
Size does not matter. History matters.
But how do you actually start establishing history?
By doing it, you establish history by beginning at some point, right? That's the only way to establish history, by doing it. And so history of the domain gets established when ISPs, like credit history, bingo, exactly. It is just like credit history. So when a new entity forms, you need to establish history by beginning baby steps. You need to build up your history. The way you build history is, first thing first, do not send unsolicited email. No unsolicited email whatsoever. That's first rule. Second thing, write good email so people don't mark you as spam. Right? So people don't want to mark you as spam, because the moment they do, Google and Yahoo and everybody is tracking how users are, your recipients are marking your email as. Shahul says, like credit history, you pay your bills on time. Absolutely, you're right. Third item is write email so that people actually respond to you. People respond back to you.
So
That builds strong credibility, really, really strong credibility. If people respond back to you, ISPs will track that factor and will give you very high ratings, because now you are actually engaging people. So as you write, as a business, if you write emails, as you build up credit history, as you build up your reputation, if you write good emails, you don't spam people, never send unsolicited emails, and have people actually actively respond back. That is what is noticed by Yahoo and Google and all the big name companies, and will exchange these reputation numbers among themselves to cut down on spam.
So are company like Zillow or Tableau, are they still using Google Apps or Microsoft solution, or are they doing their own right now?
Let's find out. It's not that difficult. So dig Zillow.com MX. See what they're doing. They are on Google Apps. Right here. Zillow is on Google Apps.
Wait, where do you see the?
Here. This is where I see. Outlook.com.
Wait, Outlook.
Yeah. I think this is Office 365.
You mean right? Oh, okay. So they're still using my. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. What else you said? Dig.
Tableau.
How do you spell Tableau? Like this?
EAU. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tableau. Let's see what they're doing. They have their own thing called mbox.net and usa.net. So they have their own setup. This is what Tableau is using.
So when would you advise a business to start using their own solution versus using Microsoft or Google solution?
So one more clarification. It really doesn't matter whether you use Office 365 or your own. What matters is your reputation, your domain's reputation. Even if you set up your own Unix server in the cloud and start sending and receiving emails by installing SendMail and Postfix and using the inbox that Unix provides by itself, you still have to worry about your reputation whether or not you're using Office 365 or Google Apps.
So how do you measure that?
I told you these three things that you have on my whiteboard.
How do you find out? Is there some sort of dashboard? Is there some sort of like analytic tools that you can actually find out what your current so-called credit standing is as far as domain name credibility?
That standard is not published, but maybe I'll do some homework and find out where exactly people are measuring. They're not publishing it.
Okay.
Email deliverability, credibility factors are not like your credit score, which is like you know exactly how the math works
Right.
and you can find out your credit. That is not clearly published by these ISPs. The big name people who matter in this game are Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, and to some extent AOL. These are the people that matter. And then there is this Yandex.ru, Yandex for Russians, and for other countries, there is some China has some other big name company. I'm forgetting that name. So they have low country specific email providers or ISPs. Yeah, there's a big name company in Brazil. So we need to take into account a global picture of what these big gigantic email providers are thinking about smaller companies, because our customers are actually using these services from Hotmail or Yahoo or Gmail or somewhere. And so these main companies already are tracking our behavior. How are we sending emails? Are we spamming them? Are we sending them advertisements about, Oakley or Ray-Ban glasses? And they're tracking that behavior. Are people marking the emails coming from jobfully.com as spam or not spam? Are they actively engaging and responding to them? And that's how deliverability works. Let me give you one more example that will give you a picture of. Here is an email. Let me show you my hiring. So when I hire, I get a new candidate. And here you will find that this email actually reports me that this email lands in my inbox specifically because I have asked it to put it in my inbox. Otherwise, all the messages come from smartrecruiters.com will go straight in the spam folder, because the reputation of this company, smartrecruiters.com, seems to be bad. And I have deliberately asked for all emails coming from this company to be not marked as spam, because I'm actually looking at them. And that's how the decision between spam versus no spam is made, by users marking that email as report spam or not spam. This reporting of spam, if I click this button, all future emails coming from that company will start going to the spam folder, like here. Here. And so you said this, let's see what this guy is doing. It says explore standardized catalog.com. I don't know what that thing is and what is it trying to sell me and give me. I have no idea. But why is this spam? Because it says we found a lot of messages from this domain called explore standardized catalog.com are spam. So we decided for you to mark this as spam and put it in your spam folder. If you think it is not spam, you can mark it so. If you think it is spam, you can delete forever. And that's what companies like Google and Hotmail and AOL and Yahoo and all the big name companies are actually tracking this metric on your domain, this company's domain. And they have almost blacklisted this company. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is Dan. So May, I had a client who their domain ended up on Network Solutions blacklist, and we had done a lot of business with Network Solutions, and so when we were talking to them, and I told them, it's like, no, this company should not be blacklisted, and they kind of gave them a little reprieve, but it was just the kind of stuff that Nilesh is talking about right now. They judge. Apparently the guy the tech guy I was talking to said, apparently that a lot of people had clicked spam on their email, and so they got a bad rep, and so we blocked all their emails.
Okay.
And so they had to then unblock them, which maybe they did for a little bit. Maybe the company was actually bad. I don't know.
Okay. Got you.
And so the decision making that happens is actually an algorithm, part of a subject in computer science called machine learning. And the algorithm that runs is essentially classification between spam and no spam. That's how the classification engine is running behind the scenes looking at every email incoming onto that ISP here, every email that comes, they'll classify that email based on this machine learning algorithm as spam or no spam, and will learn over time based on what users are telling them. Mark it, if it is no spam and it shows up in the inbox, and if the user says mark as spam, it'll mark it there, move it there, and then learn from it. And over time, these algorithms have been really sophisticated. They are able to understand what is spam, what is not spam. And people are even more smarter. They come out with creative ideas on how to write email messages so that they don't get spammed out or filtered out. And so people get smarter, and then machines learn. And then they'll again mark some messages as spam. Sometimes your important communications land up in the spam folder, and the users come here and say, no, it is not really spam. So it goes back here. And then the machine learns. Every time a user is telling them, hey, you made a mistake, the machine learns and improves its knowledge, its basis of action on this aspect, whether you should mark it as spam or not spam. And that's a way to really refine and improve your email deliverability. That's the only way, actually, by the way, because this is what the algorithms are doing, is the machines are learning user behavior and classifying the emails. And this is a classic very first example that you will learn in a big data class or machine learning class. Classification of emails. Mark as spam or no spam. In another example, the same thing applies to this other Gmail classification that you may have seen that I have disabled on my account, but it's called filters. No, where is that thing? You probably have promotions and other activities. You might have seen that. I have disabled the whole thing in my case.
Mm-hmm.
But you might have seen in your Gmail, there will be other tabs that I have disabled. I cannot find them. But they exist. There it is. Social, promotion, update, forums. You've seen those things, right? Let me pull it up and just save. It'll come back, and you will see what everybody else sees. And there are these tabs. You will see the tabs. The tabs are another way of classifying messages that are social in nature. So see, Mel Morrison says he's unable to connect. That's a social message, comes from Google+. So it got classified as social. Here is a promotional message. Here is an update on something. Welcome to the new Gmail. It's an update from Gmail. MailChimp security notice, another update. Forums, if I'm participating in some forums for DevOps, that shows up here, classifies. So this is another way of classifying emails. The other way that we talked about early on was this classification, spam or no spam. And that it's a multi-level classifier, which is, in this case, goes like this. Here, primary, social, promotions, updates, forums. So multi-level classification, again, it's a classification engine and running on the same conceptual algorithm, machine learning, machine-based classification. And the question I think what Dan has is, let's see if other people have same or similar questions or different types of questions on the topic. So I'll shut up my shut off my screen sharing ability in just a sec.
I'm good. So thank you for answering.
Yep, give me a second. I'm just finding a place to shut off that screen sharing. It should be here. And that will start my camera. Yep. So I'm back to asking any questions, if not only on this topic, but just about any topic that you might have in your mind. Go ahead. Michael joined. Hi, Michael. Murugan also joined. Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, Shahul also there, of course. Yeah, so most of you have joined in. Not everybody, though, but that's cool. Oh, the cat also joined again. That's a good cat. Cats do not make noise like dogs do. Can we use AWS with local domain for security? So there was a question from Shahul, and I'm going to read that question aloud. Hold on. Where did the question disappear? Hey, Shahul, your question disappeared. Can you please ask on loud on your microphone? Unmute yourself and ask away on the microphone if you have a mic active. Oh, the question was, can we use AWS with local domain for security? So the question to clarify is, I want to clarify the question first before I start discussing that. When you said local domain for security, what do you actually mean? If you can describe that, what do you want to actually accomplish is what I want to ask. Do you mean to say a local domain as in Active Directory domain, or what type of domain you have in mind when you say local domain? Without using IAM, can we use? Okay, so IAM.
Hey, sorry, I'm back. I was trying to figure out how do I turn the put the mute off from the cell phone. So,
No worries, no worries.
Amazon offers IAM for the enterprise-wide security, right? If you use EBS, the EB plus other applications in AWS, they have a domain enterprise-wide security using IAM feature.
Right.
Let's say if I have a local Active Directory in my company and I want to integrate all the applications I have in my Amazon cloud using the Active Directory I have, is that a possibility?
Yes, I think you will probably need a third-party solution to enable that, but we'll just go and check, see what AWS does for today. The question I want to repeat for everybody's understanding is that this service that Amazon has, and we'll go more on this, a variety of all these services that you see from Amazon. We'll walk through each of these services the next time we meet on Monday, and also compare and contrast these services with other companies that provide similar services. This, by the way, is one of the most comprehensive set of services available out there. So we'll begin from here, but then we'll take other examples like what HP does and what Rackspace does and some other companies do in terms of what services they provide. And we'll do that Monday when we meet at 6:30. Now, the question I think Shahul has is asking me about this specific service, which is the IAM service, which is Secure AWS Access Control. What this essentially does is provides you with identity and access management capabilities. What does that mean? It means you can provide identity to every user within your company and enable them with permissions to be able to access things that you have in your cloud. In the Microsoft space, there is a product called Active Directory. And the question that Shahul is asking is, can we use Active Directory from Microsoft that is locally hosted on a Windows server and use that as a method of providing what Amazon does here? And the answer is technically yes. Not out of the box though. It may not work out of the box. You need to make sure that all Active Directory items that you have in here, in your Active Directory implementation with Windows,
you need to be a little bit careful about establishing domains like a domain controller with Active Directory on AWS, because the domain controllers are very chatty, and so if you should probably at minimum establish a VPN between Amazon and the Office you're looking at. If you're trying to authenticate users who, with your Active Directory, who are back in the office or at remote offices, you may even want to consider a direct link, a hard line between AWS and your office. Typically, we typically Amazon recommends putting the primary domain controller at the office if that's where your domain, most of your registrations are coming from. And then if you need to have one like a secondary or create a federation, you would have that be hosted locally at Amazon.
Thank you. And so here is a clarification I would like to make on what Heather just described, which is absolutely on the spot. So thank you for that. The concept that Heather mentioned was chatty. And chatty essentially means too much traffic, too frequent traffic, too frequent traffic between one machine and the other. So the machine talk too much, little packets back and forth as you log in. So in a simple example, when a user has a machine that they will connect and log in here, they'll give a login and password. What happens is this connects to the network and goes to the local Active Directory in the company. So this is the company. And since it's all local, the user walks into the company, starts the laptop, and connects and logs in. And when it does, it starts to chat with the Active Directory. And this communication is very, at least small packets, but too much of exchange of information back and forth between the local Active Directory or the primary domain controller and the machine itself, verifying that it is actually the right user with the right password and has permissions, and then it will let you log into that machine on a domain joined machine. Now, in the context of cloud, you have the cloud here. So the AWS, it may be right in Seattle, but still you may not necessarily be in Seattle as a customer, as a company. So you are now asking the same traffic from your local laptop, user's laptop, to hook up to the Active Directory in the cloud. That becomes a problem because this chattiness now is happening not on the local area network, but also happening on the wide area network. And that can become a problem for this user because it will slow that person down really, really bad. So that is something we should avoid. The question that you have, that Shahul had originally, was, can we use AWS with local domain security? So it is the flip of the same thing, which is now you have a local AD. So you have a local Active Directory here in your company, and you have machines in the cloud that you have domain joined Windows machines in the cloud, and they are members of this Active Directory group. An ideal way would be to have a secondary domain controller right in the cloud that will allow these machines that are away from you to authenticate through the secondary and go back to primary as needed, would be one way of implementing. And somebody's saying also search the AWS website for Active Directory. Let's see what comes up. Oh, so too much information comes up. So
actually, the first 3 links are pretty useful.
I see. Let's see what there is a webinar on leveraging your Active Directory to access AWS. So that pinpoints the answer to Shahul's question. This will probably give you the direct answer. It will play back a webinar for you, which is leveraging your existing local Active Directory to access AWS AWS instances that you have in the cloud.
Also look at the third one down, which is the reference architecture, which shows you how to architect that.
So identity federation.
Yeah.
Sample application for AD use case.
Sorry, is it the third one or is the second one? Whoever one says reference architecture on it.
Second one's reference architecture. Oh, that's as late as April 2014. That would be decent design. So read upon these things that will answer your questions precisely, which is in the context of using your local AD and using that as the primary source of identity and access control information, and manage that centrally all within your company while using machines outside somewhere in the cloud would be a good way to look at. I think, does that answer your question, Shahul? Thank you, he says. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's keep the questions flowing. Any other questions? There's something Murugan is typing. No, he's not. Muru the Guru is silent.
Oh, I put it on mute.
Okay. Wow. Your camera is upside down, Muru. So we are seeing you like this. Maybe your laptop is tilted or something, but that's really fancy. Oh, now you straightened up. You woke up. Good morning. Mel joins in. Oh, what do you think about AWS certification? Absolutely, you should. If you are interested, you should do that. The key thing about certification is if you are interested in specifically about AWS, you should absolutely study that, no doubt. And although in this class we use AWS quite a bit, but it is not strictly focused on one particular company. We go across the board in the cloud and give you a flavor of a variety of cloud services. So you can make an independent decision as to what services will actually be relevant to you. The AWS architecture course is a great one, indeed, and it'll help you. I think most of these, by the way, in the cloud, in the space, you can read on your own and make sense out of these things already, a great deal of it. Classes do help in guiding you through the right points to find things quickly. But if you have time and if you have the inclination, most of these tools are open source. You can go to the extent of reading the source code and figuring it out. That is always there.
Hey, Nalash.
Yes.
I have a question about getting the SSL certification for job fully. Is that appropriate question to ask?
Yes, it is, but let's make sure that everybody else is taken care of first before we jump on to installing SSL certificates. What May is asking is about using SSL certificates so that you can show that you are actually secure and you are who you claim to be. And that authentication comes from using an SSL certificate that you can deploy on your server, and then you can use secure transport between your users and your site. So we can go over that if nobody else has any other questions. It's really quiet. Nobody wants to talk, apparently. Or did we lose you or something? Please unmute and talk. I feel
No, we are there.
quiet
We are
and
there.
lonely.
I think so. I'm there. I'm listening.
Okay, good. So anything that you want to discuss, bring it on. It's time for us to think. So I think what we did in the last few sessions, we met 3 times already, right? So what I would like to do is make sure that you actually follow along and complete the exercises I wanted you to do, which is, you remember the last time we spoke about asking you to create 2 employees on Office 365 and have them chat with each other using link. So I would like to see that demonstration. So the question I have for all of you, who can volunteer to show me that demo right now, or maybe Monday? Who wants to volunteer and show me that I have employees A and B, and here is how they chat with each other using link? And I'm looking for volunteers, and I'm looking at all of you. Hi, Hamid, I can see you now. Shaul, I can see you. and you disappeared. So no volunteers. That means I'll randomly pick one and work with that
No, Heather
person.
volunteered.
I volunteered on Monday.
Okay. Okay. So let us then in the class, I want to actually make it happen. So let us focus on getting things working in the class. Is focus not on talk. It is not a theoretical class, as you already know, heard me saying that. We want to actually do it, and the exercises are really relevant. It applies to both in the context of you working as an employee of a company or as a consultant to a business. In each of these cases, it is important for you to really know how to do it. So I invite each one of you to actually show me a simple thing implemented using Office 365. Create two employees and have them chat between each other, A and B. Call them call employee A, employee B. They chat with each other using link. That was the exercise I wanted to see today, but I don't.
Oh, I got stuck with the other one.
I know. But I want that to complete. That's an assignment. That's a homework task. And if you don't do it in the home, you have to do it in the class. And I'll do it with you. More than happy to do it with you. But please do it.
I have a question relating to that actually.
Yes, please.
Well, I just this morning managed to do the DKIM with Google, but it looked like my email right now has only signed by information. It doesn't have mailed by. What am I missing?
SPF.
Oh, okay. Oh, got you.
Shahul has a question. Do companies exist to set up and manage IT? And I missed the other part. Missing the other part. Unable to read that. Do companies exist to set up and manage IT for small business customers in the cloud? Yes. And they charge a boatload of money on that aspect. In fact, at Google Apps, the exercise we did in the class up until now, the things we talked about, Google Apps, there is a certification program for Google that spans, I think, 3 or 4 days. Let's instead of me making stuff up, let me actually read it. There is a certification program for Google on Google Apps Certified Architect or some name to it. They'll spend, I think, $900 or something on Google certification, and they'll be enabled to help businesses, small and medium businesses, to implement Google Apps for their business and maintain as a service for them. That is a business on its own. People make money on it, serious money. And the detail regarding setting up DNS, setting up your business around a particular service offering is kind of geeky and nerdy. And so most business owners hesitate away from that. At the same time, they want a good solution that works and reliable and stable and supported by a big name company. And that's where the opportunity to create and manage and set up business services, not just email, but all the aspects of email, calendar, contacts, address book, document sharing, collaboration, communication, hangouts, chat, all these aspects that go along with a setup of a business, whether it is a small business or a medium-sized business. This is a very good service that many people who know how to do it offer. Is it a good idea to start such a business? I think that's a very good question. The real answer to that question is up to you. If you think that you have the ability to do it, I welcome that. I think there is opportunity to make money in this if you know the compare and contrast. This is actually a very low-hanging fruit way of making money, and I think that's what I focus primarily on in the class. Is not just about technology, but actually using technology to make money. And you can make money by creating value. You create value by doing things that matter. That matter to businesses, because businesses are the ones who actually use these services. And so if you are able to provide a complete end-to-end solution by telling your audience would be a small to medium business owner, and help them understand what you can do for them in terms of helping them not only like setting up and managing their IT infrastructure from a business solutions perspective, but also helping them understand to make a decision between the best of breed solutions available out there. Is it Google Apps that will fit you, or is it Office 365 that will fit you? And there are companies out there. There are not too many, but they exist. And their primary way of making money is in this space, is to help companies migrate their business to the cloud. Otherwise, what's happening, if you look at small to medium businesses, what they end up doing, and even some large businesses, like we looked at this Tableau software, and what was the other company, Zillow. These companies, they have technical ability, but they're still using a third-party solution like Office 365, as you saw from Zillow.com. They're using it. There is a reason why. The reason is they don't want to be in the business of managing their IT operations. They have outsourced it to a company that knows how to do it. And these companies need help. And so answering the question that Shahul has, is this a good idea to start such a business? I think it truly depends on whether you have the ability, you have the willingness and time to identify a customer and sell it to them, because I know you can do it, but just being able to do it doesn't complete the business picture. Business completes when you identify a customer, tell them what you can do, have them agree that you can actually do it, have them agree to pay you if you do it, and then you do it, and then you get paid. All these aspects together constitute business. Not just I can do it, so I am a business person. That doesn't make you a business person. You complete a business when you are able to identify, you are able to talk, communicate. Here is how I will do it. I'll give you 5 examples of how I have done. Convince you that, yes, I have the ability, I have the desire, I have the time to actually do it for you by showing you examples and having you agree to making a payment when I complete that work for you. That aspect completes the business. Just knowing how to do a DNS and how to migrate something to Google Apps or Office 365 doesn't cut it, does not cut it at all. So if it's a business question, remember that part. It's not just the technical ability that matters, but the ability to sell and follow through and support what you did also matters. Cool. So yes, when I was younger, a lot younger, I used to think like this, that I can do magic, because I knew technology back then and even today. But that doesn't alone work, doesn't alone cut it. Technology alone does not cut it, ever. So what do you think? Shahul says makes sense. What do you guys think? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Awesome. Other questions? Dan is awfully quiet. He looks at me smiling. I mean his picture, but his video is shut off.
Hey, Nilesh.
Yes. Yes.
I found out my SPF was set, but wasn't mailed by information.
Let's do a dig and show me the dig. Start sharing your screen and
Okay.
show what's going on. Let's show me a dig on your SPF and your TXT.
So let me get into the virtual machine first. But I already sent you the screenshot of my Route 53.
Yeah. You switched over to Route 53, or I thought you were on some other network, not Route 53, right?
No, this one is the homework. I use Route 53.
For the homework. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your domain name?
Geekology.co. C-O.
Geekology.co. Okay, and where are you sending mail from? From Google?
Right.
Okay. And your
So here's my.
yeah, share your screen and
Can
let's
you
see
see
what's
my
going on.
screen? So this is in my
Not yet.
Route
You need to
53.
you need ability to share screen. I think I need to provide that to you. Do you see a green button which says screen share?
Let me see. Yes.
Upper left corner screen share. That will.
Oh, but the share button is grayed out.
Hmm.
Let me see. Hold on. Maybe I need to choose. Here. There. Is it sharing now?
Yes. So we can see it.
So I had this set and also this set this morning.
Now go check on google.com, your domain, and compare. What does it say? Does it say authenticating? Click on Gmail and click on authenticate email. And it is authenticating, so your signing should work.
Right, sign by is working. It's the mailed by.
Okay, now let us go to the SPF verification tool. In my email, you will find it, SPF verification tool in email I sent.
Okay, let's.
And follow through the test.
Gosh, when did you send?
So just search SPF verification tool. That'll come up.
Oh, this. Uh-huh.
Yes, this one. And so follow along. No.
No? Oh, wait. That's wrong. I thought copy paste.
Now send me an email also, so I can see on my side what does it show.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
SPF result none. Okay. Domain key result none. No signature. DKIM pass, which is nice. So your result is none. Let's find out where it's coming from. Maybe the pattern that we need to put in the SPF signature is not exactly what Google is expecting. So go back to Google. Yeah, we might need to change the record in SPF a little bit. So go back to Google and ask Google what SPF record should be. We need to find out where they ask you for Google SPF. So not in this location, but somewhere else you have to find where Google's SPF record should be. And they'll tell you what the record should be. So go back to Google Apps and then look for, these guys keep changing the whole, go to Google Apps and up one level more. So there is a walkthrough, it tells you to make a walkthrough. So go click the Start Setup blue button. Blue button says Start Setup.
Okay.
And next step. And next step.
Set up billing?
Yeah, click.
Okay.
And you say cancel. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay right now, but let me compare with my screen as to where I see it, and I'll identify that exact location, which will tell you where to find the SPF string.
Okay.
So I'm doing that right now on my side, and once I find it, I'll start sharing my screen.
Okay. Does the SPF value look correct to you in Route 53?
I think correct or not correct, Google will tell us. So that's the question I want to ask Google, as opposed to me telling you correct or not.
Okay.
Depends on what Google wants us to do, as opposed to what I think it wants us to do. So that's what I'm doing right now, is to locating that SPF record, what it should be. And as soon as I find it, I'll reach there. Users. Not in the users tab. Domains. No. More control. I think let me find out. I'm unable to quickly locate it. So I'll take some time to dig it exactly what that string should be, and I'll come back to you on that one.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. So any other questions, or you want to just start enjoying your Saturday? I don't want to unnecessarily hold you up. If there are no questions, we don't have to like keep talking. There is no reason. But definitely, I do want each one of you to show me two employees, A and B, talking to each other using link Monday. And I know some of you are behind, so catch up quickly, or otherwise we'll pause everybody and make everybody do it. So Dan raised his hand, showing that he is behind.
I've been doing traveling, and it's end of school year, so
I know it's parenting, traveling, important things. I'm not disputing that, but let's focus on getting it done, because the bottom line in this exercise essentially is there is opportunity to make money, like Shahul said. Is there an opportunity to make money specifically in the context of helping businesses migrate their business systems, email, calendar, contacts, file sharing, collaboration, chats, hangouts, communication, document editing together, all these aspects, communication and collaboration aspects. There is opportunity to make money, as you as an individual can actually make money by selling these services to potential businesses who will want to buy it from you. They need help. People don't know how to do these things. They're complex. They're not that complex, meaning you're doing it, but you can do it for other people if you really understand it carefully. There is opportunity to make money. Make use of it. If you can, absolutely do it. It's a beautiful skill to have, which is making money. So if there are no more questions, I would call it a day. Saturday, have a nice weekend. It is sunny. Go have some nice walk with your cat and dog. Cats do not walk. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, they run around.
Yeah, they run around, make you run around, but they don't walk.
Hey, Nilesh, can I just ask you a couple questions
Yes,
once
please.
we stop the hangout?
Yes, please. I will remain on the line and remain on the hangout. But if you want to drop off, feel free to drop away, and anytime you feel like. If you want to stay on and listen to what Michael has to say, stay on.
All right, I'm going to take off. Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye. And unless if I can ask you the security certificate question separately,
Yep.
then
After Michael.
oh, okay.
Hey, go ahead, Michael.
So I just need to. The context is setting up Google Apps to work correctly, and I've run into an issue with my configuration.
Mm-hmm.
And so the specific issue is when I go to one-on-one domain,
Mm-hmm.
I have configured the name server, and I think that's my issue because basically when I try and verify off Google Apps, it still doesn't recognize my domain.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you want to share your screen so I can see what's going on?
yeah, sure.
To share your screen, you need to click a green button on the left side.
Yep.
And that will start sharing your screen.
Yep. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay.
And I see that you are using one-and-one DNS.
Right.
So what you need to do is change over to Route 53 DNS. You need to do that.
I have done that.
No, you haven't.
Well, let me just show you. So here's the first question. So when we create the domain that we're going to be using, is it at this level or in one-on-one? It basically creates a subdomain, and that's I think the issue that I'm having is that I've created a subdomain to be used by Google, and like on the page when you're creating the TXT record.
Can you show us the one-and-one domain management console?
Yeah, hold on just one sec. I'll tell you what. If May wants to ask her question, it'll just take me a second to get everything on the screen.
Is Nilesh offline?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like he's offline.
Did I scare him away with my question?
Hey May, can I ask you a question in the meanwhile? How long did it take for your domain to get registered with Google for the DKIM setting?
Immediately.
Okay.
I get it set up at the beginning of this class because I was having the error number 1000 thing. Even yesterday, only this morning. And then just a few minutes afterwards, the signed by information showed up pretty quickly.
So back on Michael's screen, what I would like to see is this.
I'm just logging on, and
okay.
It's just going to take me a second. So I asked her if she wanted to ask you the question while I'm getting set up.
Okay, no worries. We'll
So
wait for you, Michael.
are we waiting for Michael?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in the meanwhile, I dropped off for a brief moment. I got disconnected, so I came back online.
Yeah, Nilesh, in the meantime, small question. Say the
Yes.
DKIM is verified and Google says
Uh-huh.
start authenticating. So then we have to put in a SPF record?
Yes, for sender policy framework, you need SPF. For signing, you need DKIM.
Okay.
So you should be able to run a query like dig murudaguru.com and then followed by SPF to see your SPF records. You should be able to run another query called dig, and then let me type it. It's way complex. So let me start in the chat box. Where is the chat box? Google Hangout. Hey, can you chat with me? My chat window disappears for some reason.
I don't know. I can't see it on my iPad.
Okay. Then let me type it on a notepad and then show it to you.
Okay.
So it'll be dig something like this underscore domain key dot murudaguru.com followed by txt. That's how it should be. I'm sharing now. Do you see my screen now?
Mm-hmm.
So this word
Okay.
called Google may be different depending on what you chose.
Okay.
So what did you choose?
No, I think I chose Google. Actually, I'm at the library, so I'll have to do this from home.
Oh, okay. I'll do it for you. What I will do is I'll go to terminal. Yeah, you have the domain key set correctly. You can see it. Do you see that? I'll clear the screen and run it. And there I see the txt record here.
Cool. That's nice. Thanks,
And now
Nilesh.
I will. You're welcome.
And thanks, May,
Oh, you're
for
welcome.
mentioning that it works. It was not working till yesterday.
Yeah.
I just did after you started saying that, oh, it worked. I said, okay, let me jump on and do it. Sorry, my head is not being seen.
So you're at the library in Redmond?
Crossroads.
Crossroads Library, I see.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's where I live.
Okay, so you live in the library, huh?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's a beautiful location actually. I like it. I occasionally go there, not too much. I prefer this, what I call the library application. Have you seen that before? In Redmond Library and in other libraries, they have this thing called, let me show you. If you haven't seen it, you should absolutely see it. So that you don't have to visit the library system. This is how it looks like. Okay, there it is coming up. So you have the app called Overdrive. Have you seen that? Hey, Muru. Muru,
Yeah.
do you see this thing?
Yes, I'm here.
The application called Overdrive. Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen that.
And here you can download any book you want from the King County Library.
Yeah, this is only the ebooks.
Yeah, ebooks and audiobooks. They're pretty good. And you can listen to just about any audiobook you want from here.
Sure.
And this is a good book that I recently listened to. Where did it go? This one. So in the library, do people mind if you talk too much, or is that okay? Is that a
Not in this library
okay?
because it's a very, very small library attached to the
Right.
mall, so it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, they have a good place to eat in that area also, right?
Yeah.
There is an Indian place to eat also. What's the thing called? I ate samosa there the last time I was there.
How was it? Was it good?
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh, okay. I mean, I never had food for the last 4 years in that place.
You never? Wow. Because you eat homemade food, I guess.
No, 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 no. I mean, I don't eat in the mall at all.
Huh.
When I was new in Seattle, that's the first time I had it. After that, I never had it.
Okay. Let's see what Michael is doing.
Michael's gone off the rails here.
Wow. Bring him back. Bring Michael back.
He's hopefully getting here. Here, I'll just I'm just anticipating needing to go into the Google admin console. I was trying to log on. So what you're seeing right now is the one-on-one. So obviously this is the network that was the domain that was created on one-on-one, the muzzum.net, and then my understanding is when we created the TXT record, you did that with getting the Google. Basically, there's two pieces of information you need from Google. The first part is appended on the left. It's that the digit 5, and then muzzum.net, which creates the subdomain, and that's where I think I might have created an issue for myself.
I think you have.
Okay.
And let me describe to you the role of one and one.
Okay.
One and one's role, we want to limit it to only one thing.
Yeah.
Not even the other one, just the only one. The only one role that we want to give one and one is to sell you a name.
Yep.
And that's what you did. You bought a name from there, muzzum.net.
Yep.
Cool. You don't want to do anything else here. No subdomain, no nothing whatsoever. All you need to do is to tell one and one to shut up and not do anything else. Instead, tell them to use Route 53 servers.
And I have set the Route 53 up, and that should be working.
I don't see it.
Okay.
I see that you are still using one and one for your DNS, which is the problem.
Well, hold on a sec. Were we doing that with the text? So,
So the way to test that would be dig zoom.net ns. And if this thing shows 1 and 1, that's a problem.
oh, and you know what it was? Okay. What I accidentally did then is created that subdomain and then ascribed the Route 53.
To the subdomain.
Yeah, okay.
No, no, you go straight to the primary domain itself and ask 1 and 1 to do nothing for you.
Now let me go back to this browser because I had it set up correctly, and then when I went to go create this text record, that's when things went south very fast.
So let's go to the My Domains button.
Yep.
Delete any subdomains you have.
Okay.
And then you go to the setting where you find your name servers and you change them to Route 53.
Hold on, just one sec.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see.
So scroll up.
Yeah. So this is the correct domain.
That is correct. And see the name, it says name servers.
Yes.
And the selection is 1 and 1.
Yeah, we want that to be
You want that to be other. You don't want 1 and 1 to do anything for you other than selling you a name.
Yep, that makes sense.
And then you save. When you save, it asks you for a name server number 1. And then it'll ask you for name server number 2 and 3 and 4.
And that's where the Route 53 goes in, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's what I did. And so, okay, so let's see. So
I think, we are now on the right track. So let's
Yeah.
identify the names that you get for Route 53 and
Actually,
put them
I have
here.
them right here.
Okay, so one by one, it goes right in this box.
Yep.
Beautiful. And next, and next.
I think the issue was it's a little confusing about, I found it confusing on the creating of the text record. Not that that's confusing, but how to actually do that on the one-on-one side here. So let me just save this first. And I realized that it might take a little while for the AWS to propagate.
Yes. So let's save and see what it says. And then everything else that we do is not in 1 and 1. Anything else we do is not here.
Okay.
Because everything else we do will be outside, away from 1 and 1 on your Route 53.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we have to now do nothing with 1 and 1.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now we need to go to terminal and say dig domain ns. And compare the difference between before and after. It is still showing 1 and 1 because it takes time to propagate.
Yeah, understand that. So now tell me this. So the next step was, you go. I'm going to switch over to the Google Apps. So in the assignment, the next step was to create. Okay, so you've got this is the Google. Do you see up there? It's cloud@musum.net.
Yes.
So, okay. So then in order to use the apps, you then need to take 2 bits of information and let's see here.
Yeah, click the blue next step button.
Okay.
Blue next step. And it will walk you through set up Gmail. And it tells you something there. Don't know what it did, but it did something.
Yeah, I apologize. Fast finger.
Yeah. So it'll tell you, walk you through exactly what needs to happen. And it says domain is verified. Mail setup is pending.
Right.
That's good. So now let us go to the other thing, which is mail setup.
Okay. Please don't tell me it's going to be this easy.
It would be that's pretty much it. Your domain name is verified. Now the next step you need to do is put MX records in your Route 53.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
Not in the one-in-one. You're done with one-in-one. So your 2 tabs, you can close them. First tab and the second tab, control panel, you can get rid of those 2 tabs. We're done with them.
Okay.
Effectively. And now we need to set up Gmail, the blue button again. And the settings will happen in Route 53.
So I can set this up right now, right?
Yes, yes.
I'm not sure if you're seeing that, but
yeah, I'm noticing something's wrong.
Yeah.
The best way to do this is to say stop script, close the browser, and open the browser.
Okay.
Close Firefox and then begin again.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, is this going to be is that going to be I'm getting a little confused between that cloud at muzzm.net versus just muzzmnet. Does that make sense?
No, I did not understand. The best way to reach your sign is the sign in button. Not this, but use the sign in button and then you log in.
Okay. You're talking about like trying to sign into to Gmail?
No, there's a sign in button right there below the green thing.
Yeah, that's what's popping up.
So if you click the sign in button,
yeah,
what happens?
That what you see there, and
then say go. Then say go. No, type the muzzum and then say go.
What I was saying is, you see in the upper right-hand corner. So is this my mail alias right there? When everything gets set up correctly, it'll be when email's routing, it'll be going cloud at muzzmnet.
That's the email address you seem to have chosen for yourself.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that was what I was getting confused about. Okay, so yes.
I want to read what this is. Ready to route mail to Muzzum, to Google Apps, and If so, we'll walk you through the steps. And yes, we are ready. I think something is wrong with the browser. So what
Okay.
we can do is say restore to golden snapshot. You know how to restore back to the golden snapshot?
Yeah. You're talking about on Trusty itself, right?
Yes, yes, on the trustee itself. Go back to where you came from at the very beginning of the class. That'll give you a clean state.
Okay.
And then you proceed in that direction.
Okay.
And but that might take like maybe 5 minutes. So we'll have an even faster way around it is to minimize the virtual machine.
Okay.
And work in your regular browser that you might have on your desktop.
Yeah. And then go in that way?
Yeah, that regular browser will also work because it is directly operating on
Yep.
on Google's websites.
Can you see this part of my screen?
I see you.
Oh, that's not pretty. Is that displaying?
Not yet. You need to start projecting your desktop and then make your screen up front. Like minimize the hangout window and bring another browser up front.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Bring this up front.
That's good.
Okay,
That's
cool.
awesome. So here you can just type in your domain and say go. And you click on add account.
Oh,
Sign in with a different account. And here you type in cloud at.
that's okay. Yeah, that's where I'm a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah, this is a different company. It's not Gmail, right? It's not cloud at Gmail. It's cloud at Muzzum.
Okay.
Cloud at muzzum.net, not gmail.com.
Okay, I'm just not used to running my own company.
I know. And so you you need to remove the gmail.com.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, so this should be cloud at
Muzzum.net.
Yeah. Okay. Duh.
Not used to running your own company, but well, you will do it soon.
Yeah.
And so you may want to remember the password.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Okay.
And now
Well,
here,
it's gonna make sense.
now set up Gmail and continue along. Same
Yeah.
steps, except that that browser was causing trouble. We hope this one will not.
There we go.
And here are instructions for you. So as you will walk through the step by step, it'll tell you exactly what to do in Route 53. So begin with next. Don't skip anything. Just go next and next. So the next button in the middle of the page.
Yeah.
And it says you to do these two things. Your current records are pointing to 1 and 1.
Yes.
And that is not what you want to do. So your domain host is not 1 and 1. Your domain host is Route 53, which is other. So you have to go and say other, and it will tell you what should be the case. So now you have chosen other and go next and tell you what it needs to be as opposed to what it is. And so this is what it needs to be.
Yeah.
So you have to take these entries one by one in Route 53 and enable that. So you need to create 5 MX record entries in Route 53.
Gotcha. Okay. You have I can complete the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I'm going to be good. Let me just thanks for sharing those instructions in the Hangout. Let me just can you progress that? Hit the next screen after that.
I can do nothing.
Oh.
I do not remote control. I cannot.
Oh, gotcha.
It is your computer.
Oh, I'm sorry. You put the instructions on the Hangout. So my point is that once I set up from here, create those entries in Route 53, and once those values propagate, then at that point, then I can proceed with setting up the the mail testing for the SPF, and then also to create the individual employees 1 and 2 on the Google side, and then essentially do the corresponding thing for 365 as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
As far as
when you switch over to 365, Google will stop working.
Right.
So all you do in Google will be wasted at that time. You will switch over to Office 365. So we'll do some assignments and work on the Google apps, and then we'll throw it away and we'll switch over to Office 365 and do the same thing there, but with Link.
Right. Hey, a couple things. Did as far as the setup for 365, have you made available instructions on how to set the accounts up, to work?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But
so
conceptually very similar. It'll walk you through. If you get stuck, you call me.
Okay.
It'll be very similar. Concept is same.
That's fine. I totally get that. And then the other question was, do you recall when we last met in the school environment, people kept on complaining that there was a certain error message with Google at some point, and I wasn't tracking that. Do you recall what I'm talking about?
Yes.
What was the specific issue that people were having with Google?
Was about generating a key for DKIM, but that issue I think got resolved.
Okay.
You may not run into it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to verify. Okay. Awesome. Hey, thanks a lot for spending your time on Saturday to do all this. So
you're welcome.
Appreciate your assistance, and then I'll see you on Monday.
Yep.
Thanks, pal.
Thank you. Hello, Bob.
Hi.
So let's do the MD5
yeah,
SHA-1 checkup.
I've been going all over your website. I can't find it, so I'm just.
So it's as simple as MD5. You are Windows or Mac? What do you have?
Windows.
Windows. So let me give you a link to the site where it's exactly called out.
Okay.
And so you will be able to find it quickly. I'll just give you a link to that location. So I'm going to the library, and I'll show you so you can also see. I'll start sharing my screen. And now you see that. It's coming up.
Okay, so that's in library. Okay, that's what I don't have access to.
Aha. Okay. I will fix that. That's a big problem. That's a big problem.
Yeah, no wonder I can't find anything. It's also been kind of hard to do the homework.
I know, but it's a big problem if you don't have access to. That's silly. Okay, let's go to the library and make sure you have access. So widgets and users. Where are users? Where is Mr. Bungie? Users. There is users. There. Then we have Mr. Bungie. Bungie has access. No, he doesn't. The mailer.com, right?
Yeah.
So I'm giving you a subscription right now. Save. So now you have library access. So we'll go to the library.
Okay, I'm going to try logging in again.
Yeah, you don't need to just refresh. That'll work. Refresh will bring you to the library.
Refresh, and that didn't happen, so I might be logged in wrong or something.
Okay. So now, do you see the library?
Okay, here it comes.
Okay. Now
Yeah,
in the library,
finally, I see something in the library.
Okay. So let me see what you see. So can you share your screen?
I have to find the control for that.
It's a green on the upper left corner.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Now here, go to up on top. Say number 2, I think. Number 2 will be good. And somewhere in here, establishing trust on the internet.
Okay.
And there you will find instructions on verification.
Oops.
Just scroll up a little bit. Is it jumping around or something? Is the site jumping up and down too much?
Yeah, I just clicked on the trust link and then it just went crazy on me. But
Right. So scroll down a little bit. Scroll down without clicking. Scroll down and slowly.
close out a bunch of stuff. Okay.
So in this sequence, you will find a step to calculate the MD5 checksum.
Right.
Using Windows. Do you see that?
Yeah. Okay, so I've got your copy of Trusty. Are you telling me that that will function if I go through all this?
Now I want to identify the exact location, how to validate your MD5 checksum. And that's what I want to do. So what I will do is pinpoint. I think I haven't yet pinpointed to you exactly where that is. So let me do that. I'm also now going to the library myself to help you locate that item quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I've like run WinMD5 and things before, so I'm aware of
Yep.
that.
So if you run MD5, you need to calculate the MD5 and give it to me so I can also run MD5 here and compare. So you will know exactly you have what I have. And if that is not the case, you cannot proceed. Right? So I'm going to do an MD5 here. And I want you to do
I'm
MD5
not sure if
there.
I have WinMD5 on this. I'll just go grab it real quick.
Right. So if you click the Your Virtual Workstation button as opposed to the Establishing Trust on the Internet button, there is a button above that, the second button in module number 2. Module number 2, click the second button. That will give you a link to MD5 tool.
Okay.
Do you now see that?
Yeah, right. Okay.
So the tool is called FCIV.
Yeah, I got it.
So that is the tool. And now I'm going to do is go to my copy of the trustee, calculate MD5 and tell you when you do the same on your side. So we'll compare whether we have the same thing or it is corrupted. Right?
Yeah, right.
And so I am now running MD5 on my machine on the trustee that I have in my downloads folder. There it is. Terminal, downloads, MD5, trustee. And the result is coming up. And I have the result. I'm going to paste it in a chat window.
Okay, my software is just coming up. I'm just accepting the conditions and all that. Now I'm going to browse to the file.
Yeah. So I'm emailing you the signature for MD5 that I got. Compose email Robert Bungie trustee.ova MD5 sum. And here is the answer.
Excuse me, I'm a little bit back in the installation process. So
Yep.
go ahead and
So I
fix
just
that.
I just emailed you the MD5 checksum for my image. And if it doesn't match with what you have, then we have a problem to solve.
Okay. I've got the package extracted.
Also check your email so you have MD5, my value of MD5.
Oh. All right, so I went too quick on the installation process and missed something. You download it, save, close. Oh, okay, I got to go to the command prompt. Start run cmd. Okay.
Did you get my email?
Probably, but I haven't looked. I'm trying to get the
FCIV.
MD5, so I'm getting warm here. I think I have to type in a full pathway to Trusty.
Yep.
So I'm just getting all that fun stuff lined up.
Fun stuff.
Oh, I forget. I think I spelled. Yeah. I had myself in the user directory, not the users directory.
How nice.
Yeah, right. Okay. So I got the pathway in there. Now I got to type the command. Cannot find the path specified. C : users Bob desktop Trusty. Let's see. Maybe I need the file type on Trusty.
OVA.
OVA. Let's see if that one gets done.
Now you need to wait for the MD5 to complete.
All right. This is actually doing something.
Yep.
So while that's going on, I'll check the email.
Yep.
Well, just getting into the library is major progress. Let's see. Try the other email. The smart thing to do is check it on my phone.
Yep. Much easier.
Just got a Windows phone a couple days ago, and it's actually pretty handy.
Nice.
Okay, good. So I've got your trusty checksum here. And it's looking corrupt. Well, wait a minute. Timeout. Let me be sure. No, I'm not matching a whole lot of characters here, so I think we have different files.
We have a problem.
Yeah.
So even if there is a single mismatch, we have a problem.
Yeah, well, you know how hashing algorithms work, so it might be as little as a bit error, but it's corrupt.
Yeah. So if you have it corrupted, leave it alone. Don't delete it. Let's see Monday. Come early Monday, so I'll be there and we can look at that.
All right, I'll give it my best shot.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't send you the checksum, but it's just not close. So.
Yeah. Even if there is a slightest deviation, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll fix it by giving you another image.
All right.
And
Well,
then comparing checksum right there.
I'll try to see you early on Monday so we can get Trusty fixed. In the meantime, I'll see how much of the other things I can do without going through that.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.